One Piece chapter 1024. Now I think this is a chapter that has been long overdue at this point, but it seems like we're finally delving into the Yamato flashback because there are some things that needs to be rectified before moving forward regarding Yamato's character. And honestly speaking, this was a very good introduction to this flashback, and it seems like we're going to be getting more moving forward, as this flashback pertains not only to Yamato but also other important individuals such as Ushimaru, which obviously has some ties to Zoro. So I'm kind of wondering what's going to come out of this, but a lot of it seems like it's going to be correlated, and Oda is going to flesh out more things relating to characters in the current storyline as to give us a whole picture. Now before we get into this chapter, I would appreciate it if you dropped a like on this video. Let's try to go for 500 likes, and subscribe if you're new here. Now this chapter for the most part focused on two sections, the first part being on what the situation looks like on each floor, and the second part of this chapter focused mainly on Yamato versus Kaido as well as the flashback. But let's start with what's currently going on Onigashima. So here we essentially get what's happening on each floor, and for the most part everything seems to be very chaotic just because of the defeat of the Flying Six. We can see the effects of that, and if anything it seems like the Alliance is starting to get the upper hand in terms of numbers, which makes a lot of sense because the Flying Six acted as a stronghold in terms of forces. In some sense they needed to be taken down before moving on to fodder, and that seems to be what's happening here, as not only are the Beast Pirates losing in terms of morale, but you also have strong individuals that are free like Jinbei, who is someone that can take a lot of people out. So it seems like those that can still move after their fight with their respective Flying Six are now whittling down the forces of the remaining Beast Pirates, which overall would give the Alliance a much bigger chance of success. Now on the second floor we have Usopp, who I'm guessing is engaging with some of the Beast Pirates, and here we see a semblance of Conqueror's Haki being used, and of course in Usopp typical fashion he tries to claim that he was responsible for it, while in reality that is something caused by the echoes of Big Mom's Conquerors, which I am assuming is in relation to her battle with Kid and Law. Though I do think that this is another foreshadowing that you can add to the list for Usopp potentially getting Conquerors in the future, as a lot of Usopp's lies always come true. Now we also get to see Nami here talking to Frankie, who is currently on the right brain tower, which I assume is very close to the life floor, and for the most part he seems to be stopping the Beast Pirates that are heading into the life floor because he doesn't want them to interfere with Sanji and Zoro's battle with the Calamities. We do also have some of the Heart Pirates helping here as well. So again, apart from Kaido, it seems like the focus is now to take down the Calamities, as they are the biggest force remaining other than Kaido himself. Now on the third floor we come to see Robin and Brook, and the whole place seems to be burning down due to Black Maria's flames earlier in her battle against Robin, and Robin for the most part seems to be done, but it's very likely that she will recover, so we're probably going to get her back in action very soon. Brook seems to be okay, so he's going to be the driving force in making sure to protect Robin before she recovers. And surprisingly we haven't got a lot of Brook in this arc, so we might get some Brook moments moving forward. I think him and Usopp have been very lackluster in terms of the whole raid on Onigashima, so we might focus on these two next, and they might get a little shine here and there. Now on the fourth floor we have the Kid Pirates and also Jinbei there as well, and again just like I mentioned before, there's a huge influx of pirates trying to reach the life floor, and the main objective is to force them back. Now moving on to Yamato and Kaido. The fight has been going on for quite some time now, and if anything this puts Yamato on a very high pedestal in terms of strength. Right now, based on her feats, she's looking to be stronger than Luffy, or at the very least equal to Luffy in combat ability, because she's lasted against Kaido for quite some time now. And this is a Kaido that's going in with the intent to kill, and this battle for the most part has been very equal on both sides, but it's very obvious that Kaido has the edge here, but Yamato is still keeping up. Now I will say that the Luffy that I'm referring to is the Luffy that got defeated by Kaido as of recent, but the Luffy that's coming back to Kaido right now seems to be a lot different and has seemingly gone through some sort of transformation, whether he learned something new about Conquerors, maybe a new gear, but it seems like Luffy has something new coming back into this fight. So for the most part I still have Luffy over Yamato, but I cannot ignore Yamato's fighting abilities against Kaido right now. Now, moving on to the flashback, we get some very interesting details from this in regards to several things. Now, here we come to see Yamato chained up, which we assume took place, due to them being on bad terms and her wanting to become like Odin. Obviously, that's not sitting well with Kaido. But here we got a confirmation that she is indeed a user of Conqueror's Haki, which we kind of figured out based on her clashes with Kaido. And also from a visual perspective, she also has that streak of lightning when she does attacks. So Yamato being a Conqueror's Haki use her was something that a lot of us saw coming, and she is also the daughter of Kaido, so it makes a lot of sense. So here we have Kaido imprisoning Yamato in a cave for a month, hoping that she reconsiders her actions, and interestingly enough, she's also placed in the cave with 3 other swordsmen, and these 3 swordsmen were in prison because Kaido was trying to break their will in order for them to join him. And so because they haven't ate in a month, he left them 1 portion of food along with their swords in hopes that they will fight amongst themselves, which technically backfired on Kaido here because it gave them room to escape, but I digress. Now I think this is where a lot of Yamato's respect towards the samurai comes from, in which we come to find out that all 3 of them chose to give Yamato that 1 portion of food, as they state that the samurai do not get hungry. And it's almost like there's a theme of sacrifice she noticed within the samurai, something that she also witnessed within Odin as well. So I think this is where a lot of her influences come from, and we're getting a greater understanding of why she adores Odin this much. And her interaction with these guys are also adding on to that influence, and she obviously bonded with them with the time that they spent in the cave. Now we don't necessarily know who the other 2 individuals are, but we do know that one of them is Ushimaru, a figure that we didn't really know much about. And in terms of the timeline of events, we've always wondered what happened to him during Odin's battle with Kaido. But with this chapter, everything is kind of coming full circle in terms of the chain of events, as it seems like he took the initiative after Odin was defeated, and this was something that wasn't mentioned before. So that's why a lot of us was confused as to what happened to him. And I have to say that his resemblance to Zoro is just extremely similar. He essentially looks like an older version of Zoro, not even a variation of Zoro, just a straight up older version of Zoro. And it's very interesting because Yamato hasn't met Zoro yet, so when they meet up, she's gonna see that resemblance, and it could spark Zoro potentially knowing about this Ushimaru individual. There's also the idea that the person that killed Ushimaru was king, so that could be another way to spark that whole conversation for Zoro, but we need to see what happens next before we can say that. But I'm still kind of uncertain as to where this whole storyline with Yamato is heading towards, because I still feel like there's still some missing pieces involved, but it's obvious that Oda seems to be heading towards that. We know that Kaido calls her his son, so there's a lot more that's probably going into this. I think a lot of the missing pieces are from Kaido's side of things, so I wonder if we're gonna get things from Kaido's perspective, because a lot of the times he's usually very stern in these flashbacks, nothing really in-depth about him. It's just he says a few things here and there, but that's about it. So I think we need more from Kaido himself, right? But I do like that we're getting Yamato's stuff here, because she's a very interesting character, and again, I was always puzzled as to where this love for Odin comes from, and it seems like we're getting a whole picture of that, and it's coming piece by piece. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Comment down below what you guys think. I would appreciate it if you dropped a like on this video and subscribe for more One Piece content on this channel. You can follow me on Twitter at Farrahspace, but it is Farrah, guys, and I will see you folks later. Peace.